Hello, everyone. Can you please let me know if you can hear me? You can just write something in the chat. Yeah, thank you. See reactions now. Thank you, Ruslana. Thank you, Alla. Dila. Yeah, thank you, Daria. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Hello, Tamara. Greetings to Georgia, too. Hello there, Irina. Thank you. Hello. So I think that we will start. Thank you, Yulia, Natalia. Yeah, I think we will start at 6 or at 5 sharp. So it's like almost 1 minute left. Hello. Okay, first of all, my name is Lydia Simak. I work for Great Education Center. I'm a teacher trainer, and also I'm a Young Learners Academic Director. So very nice to meet you, everyone. And because today we're talking about how to maximize students' involvement in class, it's a little bit difficult to do it in theory, actually. I can have a lecture, you can listen to me, but maybe it's not a very good idea. So I will ask you to please take part in everything that I'm going to do, because I will actually use you, the participants of the webinar, as guinea pigs to show you what works, what doesn't work. And you will participate in teeny tiny demos from me, and we will discuss if what I do is good, and if it's not, how can you do it better? Okay, so please feel free to use your cameras to speak. So that's absolutely fine. That's even welcome. Okay, so I think we can start. Well, I know quite a lot of people from here. Some of them are even my colleagues. The other, they were my trainees, or just people I met at other events. And there are people I don't know. So what I will ask you to do, I'm going to ask you a question. You can just unmute and tell me, okay? So Ruslana, how do you feel? You can just unmute and say something if you can. Ruslana, I know that you cannot speak, and you can write down in the chat. So how are you today? So I hope Ruslana's fine. So I have Alla Verbenseva. Alla, how are you today? Can you tell me?
I'm great, thank you. And how are you?
Yeah, thank you, Alla. I'm fine too. Okay, I have Irina for us here. Irina, how are you doing today?
Nice to meet you, Lydia. I'm feel good.
Yeah, good. Nice to meet you too. So, Olga, how are you feeling? Olga Ivanchenko. I cannot hear you, but I can read your lips. I think that you're doing good. So unfortunately, I cannot hear you. Okay, and I have a person. We have Tamar from Georgia. Tamar, can you unmute and tell us how you feel today?
Hello, greetings from Georgia. I feel very good. We have sunny weather, and it's quite warm.
Very nice.
Yeah, sending sun and warmth from Georgia.
That's good, because the weather's definitely ugly here in Kiev. It's like really cold, and like, oh, I don't want to go outside.
That's it. Okay. Because it's spring and everybody wants to go out and spend some time out with friends, or just have leisure time activity.
That's nice. That's nice. Thank you. Okay, guys, that was my first activity actually. And like ideally, I was supposed to ask all the 27 people. My question is, what's wrong with my activity? Is that okay? If you would like, you can just drop something in the chat. What do you think is wrong? Or you can unmute and say if you're brave. I have some messages from people. Thank you. Time consuming. Yes, Ruslana. Yeah, Ruslana, I hope you will feel better. Yeah, it's really time consuming. Imagine I asked all the 27 people, how much time will it take? That's a lot. A bit boring. Lila, thank you very much for your comment. That's exactly what I wanted to see. Yes. So asking everyone how they feel. So that's a good idea, like in terms of interpersonal relationships, like taking care, but how effective that is. Not really. So if we think about what's the problem with my task, my problem is when one person is speaking or when I'm talking to one person, what are the others doing actually? My thought is that something like this. If you agree with me, please give me a plus to the chat that everyone's actually busy, not busy, but they are not busy and they are actually bored because they're not speaking. Okay. I cannot read the chat, unfortunately. I think I will try to, okay. Okay. I think I will try to join the conference and I will read the comments from my phone. Just can you please give me a moment? All right, so I'll try to do it simultaneously, both read comments and run the seminar. Okay, so the problem is that, yes, it's really boring and the others are not busy. I'm going to suggest another activity for you. This time it's going to be pair work. And I'm going to put you, every one of you, in pairs, and I will ask you to discuss this question. My question is, what are you going to do after this webinar? What are your plans? So I will put you into breakout rooms for about a minute. We're going to do it really fast. So can you please share with your partners what you're going to do after this interview? So breakout rooms. I'm not going to put you into pairs because that's quite a lot, but I will have 6 breakout rooms. So please talk to your partners. What are you going to do after this webinar? 1 minute, please join. I see that some people are actually responding to the chat. Can you please share in breakout rooms? If you don't want to go there, okay. That's fine, but still you're supposed to work in pairs with someone. I have closed the breakout room, so we're waiting for people to come back. While the people are coming back, just imagine you have talked to someone about what you're going to do after this webinar. Okay. Okay. People are still busy talking. While we're waiting for the others, think if this activity, like when I ask people to speak together about their plans after the webinar, is it different? Is it better than the one that was the first one when I start asking anyone one by one? Okay. Just let me make sure that everyone's back. from Breakout Rooms. Yes.
Okay, Lydia, can you repeat the question, please? Because I just...
No, it was the question for those who were waiting for you to return from Breakout Rooms. So please don't worry. Okay. So everyone's back. So Olga, now you can speak. So can you tell me about your partners? What are their plans for the after webinar period?
Okay, it was a kind difficult to understand because I had some technical issues. So
okay, don't
yes,
worry.
Sorry for that. Yeah, I can tell you what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
but this is a better task. Yes, in comparison with the first one, because you split it up into some groups and everyone was talking.
Okay. Yes. Everyone. So this is definitely better because everyone's talking, right? So
yeah, everyone was involved.
Is it a good question for me to ask you to respond what your partners were talking about? Guys, what do you think? Is it a good question? Yes or no? Can you please put a plus or a minus to the chat? Elena, thank you for your reaction. Okay, you can just show me a thumbs up or use your reaction. If you think it's a good task, you can show me a thumb up or you can put a plus to the chat. If you think it was rubbish, put a minus. It could be rubbish, who knows? Thank you for your responses in the chat. Everybody likes my task. Wow, thank you. Well, actually, yes. If you compare it to the first task, when I just asked everyone how they feel, of course, it's much better because you actually speak. You speak simultaneously. You share with your partners. Question. Did I ask you to remember what your partners were going to do after the webinar? Sorry, I didn't. So is it actually fair for me to ask you to report about your partners? If you think it is fair, give me a thumb up. Thank you for your no's in the chat. Of course not. So if you ask people to discuss anything in pairs, so is it a good idea to ask them to remember something what their partners are saying? Yes, thank you for your reaction. Otherwise, imagine that you have a group of moody teens and you ask them to discuss something. Will they be talking actually? Well, maybe, but I don't think so. The problem with training teachers is that they always start talking if you ask them to talk because they're well trained. But if we talk about normal people and like people like IT guys or someone who is not used to speaking that much and cannot just start talking about anything on the spot. So this is extremely difficult for people to actually share and talk if they don't have a good reason for that. So I'm sharing my screen again, showing you my presentation. So what you need to do is when you want your students to get involved, you have to teach them to introduce pair work. So pair work first, because if you start asking people one after another, so one person is involved, the other people are not doing anything. You can get feedback and remember that you need to set a communicative purpose. So you need to ask your students to discuss something because I'm going to give you an example of such task. We're not going to do it in breakout rooms again, just for the sake of time, but my task is talk to your partner about what you're going to do after the webinar. Decide who has got more interesting plans. Or talk to your partner about what they're going to do after the webinar. So have you got similar or different plan? Or think of 5 things you're going to do after this webinar, from teeny tiny, like I'm going to close the window, I'm going to feed my cat, I'm going to brush my teeth, like anything like you can theoretically do in the evening, and think how much you have in common or something like that. So if I know that I have to talk to my partner and I have to compare my plans and my partner's plans, I have to find something in common, or I have to decide how interesting their plan is, or I have to see how much we have in common out of 5 So does it give me a reason to actually talk to my partner and say something to them? Thank you for your reactions in the chat. Yes. If I know that I have to find something, I have to achieve something with my partner, yes, I know I will speak. Does it give me a good reason to actually listen to my partner, listen to what they're saying? It does. Thank you. Do you think it will help people who do not really like speaking, who prefers allowing dominating talkative students just speak? Will it stimulate them to say at least something if they have to compare their plans? Yes. So it's called communicative purpose. I know that a lot of people know about it, but sometimes we forget about it. This is really, really important to give your students the reason to speak and the reason to listen to your partner. Communicative purposes can be very different. And if you would like to talk about it, we can talk about it later at the end of the webinar. And I think now we can move on. So I'm going to continue doing my demos actually. Can you please look at that animal? Have you got any idea what it is? If you can you please drop the name to the chat? If you don't know this in English, but you know this like in your language, yeah, it's a kind of a fly. Yeah, it's a fly, but that's not a conventional fly. It's a special species. Not really, Ruslana. It's not a wasp. It's not really a molehill. Tsetse. No, it's not tsetse, but I know that it's like kind of similar. Okay, I'm going to give you the name. It's a Drosophila. Have you heard of such a fly, Drosophila? This is a, yeah, oh. I'm very happy you haven't heard about it, and I will tell you why later. This is one of my favorite animals. I can tell you the truth. Not because I really like it, not because it's beautiful. It's actually ugly. I hate them. But I know that scientists have been using them a lot because they are very, very quick, to multiply. So in 2 weeks, like you had one pair, in 2 weeks, you will have like 200. And it's easy to set up some genetic experiments with them. That's why I like this animal, because it helped genetic scientists have a lot of discoveries in genome. Okay, I want you to talk about Drosophila. Drosophilas are not only good for genetic engineering, they are actually good for farming. So can you please now, again, join your breakout rooms. This time you will go and you will do it. And can you please talk about using Drosophilas in Ukrainian farming? And decide if you have the same or different ideas with your partner. So is your information, the same, or maybe you've heard different uses? Okay, I'll stop sharing. Please join your breakout rooms for about a minute. Talk about using Drosophilas in Ukrainian farming. Just a moment. I will just change the setting in breakout rooms because I don't want you to spend a lot of time there. Okay. Can you please join your breakout rooms? Talk about Drosophilas. 1 minute. People, if you are staying in the main room, you can actually unmute and talk about Drosophila here with your partners. And I will check people in breakout rooms and I'll be back. And I'm assigning those who are not in breakout rooms. You can actually join if you like. Trying to do it fast. Okay, I'm checking the breakout rooms and I'm coming back in about 40 seconds. You can speak about the flies here if you like. Okay, I have closed the breakout rooms. I think everyone will be back in 10 seconds, so we're waiting for people. Okay, so Snezhana, have you talked to your partners about Drosophila? Snezhana Humeniuk, if you can speak to me. Okay, maybe no. So ladies, I heard that Natalia was saying something, Natalia Bromaga. Did you have the same or similar or different ideas about Drosophila and farming in Ukraine in your room?
Yeah, the main idea in our room was that it's quite a difficult topic even for adults, and also we just must know something about the subject in our mother tongue to be able to conduct speaking in foreign.
Exactly. So was it easy for you to speak about Drosophila, guys, in breakout rooms? Can you please put a plus or a minus or give me a reaction?
Definitely.
I see that Daria is laughing. Yeah. Actually, no. So I have something in the chat. Yes, everyone. Hey, the topic. Olena, thank you so much for saying that. But for Alla, it was okay. All right. So there is always some person who knows something you don't know. Okay, guys, I'm sharing my screen again. So what's wrong with my task? It was communicative. I asked you to talk to your partners. I asked you to decide if you have similar or different knowledge about Drosophila and farming in Ukraine. So what's wrong with the topic? I see.
You didn't explain what it is. I mean, like what it is. We didn't have any information. I mean,
you have a picture. You have a name. What's the problem? You should go. Yeah, complicated topic. Thank you, ladies. I had no knowledge about it. Thank you, Tamar. Lack of knowledge. Yes. So, guys, question: was this topic relevant to you somehow? Okay, Natalia. Yeah. So, Natalia, we will talk about this later. So, the problem with this topic was that it is absolutely irrelevant. So when you choose the topics for teenagers, or like when you choose the topic for IT guys, will you ask them to share recipes of their favorite cake and the method? Maybe no. When you have a group of ladies who you know are mostly housewives taking care of kids, will you ask them how they change tires in their cars? Probably no. So you have to have relevant topics. So the secret of a good communicative task to discuss is first, the topic has to be relevant. It has to be engaging. Second, the task has to be communicative. So you have to give students a reason to speak, like remember what your partner is saying and decide what you have in common, like find the differences, find the similarities, like it can be a decision making or problem solving task, like find 3 interesting ways of using, I don't know, a plastic bottle and a brick or something like this. You know that they say that Elon Musk asked that question when they hire people to SpaceX or something. So it has to be communicative, not just for the sake of speaking. And also, the topic has to be relevant. So this is another reason why people might struggle. Okay, so I hope that you liked my demo, because it took me a lot of time to actually come up with a topic that nobody knows. And by the way, if you want to know about Drosophila and farming in Ukraine, I found out from my colleague that there are businesses in Ukraine, they actually multiply and grow those insects because this is the alternative for using chemicals in fields, because they eat those teeny tiny, even tinier insects that are that harm the crops, and actually it's cheaper and it's healthier, and farmers do not need to use that many chemicals to fight. So that's why Drosophilas are actually very cool, and I even like them even more when I found out this. Okay, yeah, Olga, you said so. Good job. But you're the only one. It's like 2% of people in this room, you see? So for you, it's an interesting thing to discuss, but for most people, it's really irrelevant. Or I should have told you, say your partner something interesting or what you know. But my task was the rubbish just because of the topic. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to suggest relevant topics for discussion. And in that case, there is more chance that your students actually start speaking. And not just keep silence or something or avoid the conversations. Okay, yeah, hobbies, movies, Olga, it depends on your students. And sport, yes, you're right. But some people do not watch or do sports. And very often you can have an old course book where the topic is talk about your favorite TV program. And people might not watch TV or they might not play video games. So you have to know your student's background. In that case, yes, safe topics. But if you teach a C1 class, will you talk to them about food? Probably, yes. So you need to know your students well. Okay, so you got the idea. And now we're going to talk about controlled practice, because very often this is the problem when the teachers don't know if students are involved. And I have a task for you, actually. This is an FCE task. This is word formation. The task is to look at the gap here, look at the word near the gap, and you need to decide what part of speech you need to use in the gap, and you need to change the word correspondingly so that it fits. For example, in the 0, we definitely need an adverb, and the answer is commonly. So can I ask you to really do the task? It's not that long, because I'm going to do another demo with you. I think 5 minutes will be enough, even less. And if you're ready, can you please give me applause to the chat? So please do the task. Yeah, please do not write your answers to the chat yet. Okay, you can just write them down on a piece of paper, or you can write them to the chat, but please do not send them to the chat, or you can send them to me personally. Let me know when you are ready with at least number 20. So if you have from 17 to 20, that's okay. Oh, thank you, Ludmila. And Julia, thank you, Larissa, Lena. So we have a lot of people who are ready. Thank you so much. So now, Daria Migunova, can you please tell me what is number 17?
17?
Yes.
17, I have producer.
Yes. Guys, do you agree that this is a producer? Let's imagine that you agree. Okay, very nice. Thank you. So can I ask Olga Obzhilan to tell me what is number 18? Olga, if you can say, or you can write that down. Illness. Illness or illnesses, guys. Do we have plural here? Yes, illnesses. Good job. Thank you. Okay, so, and I keep asking one after another. Is my task good or is my task rubbish? If it's good, can you give me a thumb up? If it's rubbish, can you please give me a minus? Yes, thank you, Olga. It's rubbish. Some people think it's okay. The other people don't agree. Wow, that's cool. That's interesting. Okay, depends. All right. So now what's going to happen? I will send you to your breakout rooms again. And this time, can you please compare your answers from 19 till 20? Okay, so 2 answers. Can you please discuss them with your partners? You need to see if you have the same or different. And if the answer is different, can you please together look at the task, discuss, and decide which answer is correct? So you will have 1 minute, let's discuss 2 answers, 19 and 20, in breakout rooms. Please compare your answers with your partners. So I stop sharing. Can you please take a screenshot if you need to see the task? Or you can take a picture with your phone. It's okay. I'll give you 6 minutes to do that. Six seconds, sorry, not minutes. Okay, I stop sharing my screen. Quickly, please go to breakout rooms, compare number 20, 19 and 20. If you have more, you can compare more, but you have about a minute to do that. Ready, steady, go, breakout rooms. Guys, if you're staying here, you can also discuss with your partners, like compare the answers together. Okay, let's imagine that I gave everyone enough time. People are back. So I'm sharing my presentation with you again. So guys, you have discussed with your partners. Do you have the same or different? If you have the same, can you please give me a thumb up or a plus to the chat? Thank you very much. Good, thank you. Can you please look at the answers? Do you have the same or different? If some answers are different, can you please write the number of the question you would like to discuss? Yes, Elena, you are the champions. Yulia, 23, thank you. We will talk about it. The same, thank you, Katerina. Wasn't attentive. Okay, Yulia. So the problem is that you weren't attentive. Okay, so if your students have some problems with some task, so with some numbers, so what you're going to do, you're going to discuss it in class, right? Is it necessary to go through every word, every sentence and discuss it if students have no problems with them? Can you only concentrate on the ones that were difficult? But how can you actually ensure that how can you know that you don't have to discuss everything? What do you need to do to make sure that the rest that you are not discussing is okay? Yes, monitor. So I don't know if you noticed, but I visited a couple of rooms, and in real lessons, what you do is when your students are discussing, you have to listen to them, what they are saying. It's easier to do in real class, like especially if you have a smaller group, like 12 people, 6 pairs, they are talking, you are listening. You are listening and you are making notes, what is difficult, or maybe they make some wrong judgments and you need to clarify something. But if they discuss some statements and you hear that they got it right, they give good reasoning, there is no need to clarify them. Clarify only the ones that are difficult or the ones that students did the wrong way, or something that you think deserves your attention. So in such way, when you were talking to your partners, Why do you think it's a good idea to ask students to check in pairs after they complete controlled practice tasks? You can unmute and say, or you can write something in the chat, like 1 or 2 words. So why is it a good idea to ask them to speak? What level it is? So Yulia, this task, this is an FCE level, so this is B2. If you're asking about what level we're talking about when students need to discuss in pairs, it's any level starting from 0 till C2. Yes, yeah, speak please. Somebody was talking. Okay, so yeah, I have a comment that we make shy students more comfortable, right? They teach each other, yes. So always, first of all, you make sure that they were really doing the task, because if I just nominate one person, how do I know that the other people, A, did it, B, did it right, C, do not need any explanation from me? If you ask them a question, do you understand? They can just say yes, if they don't want to talk to, or they're shy, and they will not get that explanation. But if you ask students to discuss, and if you ask students to give reasons, and you can hear what they're saying, that's exactly what we want. It means that not only one person is speaking in front of the class and the others are listening. It means that they're all talking, they're all discussing and thinking. Yes, there might be peer teaching. One student, for example, I think it was Yulia who was inattentive. I think that if she was discussing with the partner, and her partner was attentive, her partner would say that, Yulia, I have a different, let's look together. And Yulia, even though she was inattentive, she would get the right answer. If they're wrong about the answers, Olga, so how do we know? First of all, we listen to them while they're speaking. We note where they need help and which answers are wrong, and later we will explain them in class. This is the first thing. Second, you show them the answers and you ask them, if you haven't heard everyone, for example, if you have a larger class, you can ask which answers are different, and you discuss these answers with them.
Excuse
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
May I offer a suggestion? There's high probability that really shy students will just be quiet about the mistakes they've made even together. They'll just correct it without understanding. To avoid that, I would offer another variation.
Nina, this is a very good question. Thank you. That's why you say discuss your answers and give.
Right. And can I please say, so
yes,
instead of providing them the correct answers, I can give them a set of answers where some, well, they don't know how many answers are wrong.
Yeah.
So after they've discussed their answers in pairs, I will ask them to look at the board, and I'll tell them that some of the answers are wrong. So they'll be tricked into thinking that any of their answers may be correct. So they'll just say, no, okay, our answer is different. Like, it's not scientist,
yes,
it's scientist.
I agree with you. I do not do it very often. I do it really, really rarely with some lazy teens. I can tell you the truth. I do not do it very often because mostly when students are discussing, I can hear their reasoning and I know where they're just, speaking, doing some random, giving some random answers where they don't know and where they're really discussing. It might work, yes, if you have a large class and you cannot hear everyone talking, or yes, if you want them to be really critical about the answers. Personally, I know this. I don't do it very often. I sometimes do it, but I do not turn it into the routine. It depends. It depends on your students. It depends on your class. But yes, why not? If it works, if it doesn't mislead them, yes, whatever works with teens, yes, do it. Okay, so this is about how we do controlled practice tasks. I have some questions in the chat. What is your advice about high school students who do not know even reading while they are at the grade ministry? I'm thinking, yes, we will talk about mixed ability, not such a terrible case. It's Abdulrahman, not such an extreme case, but later we will talk about what to do with mixed ability students. Don't worry, yes. It will not solve your problem completely, but at least it will give you some ideas and maybe it will ease some work with really difficult classes. Okay, so what we need to do when we do control tasks, ask students to discuss in pairs, not just say what your answer is, but give you reasons, give reasons to each other. This is how you can hear what you need to discuss later. Monitor, you need to really listen to your students. Visit breakout rooms. If it's Zoom, it's a little bit difficult because you cannot hear them simultaneously, but still, if it's real class, it's a little bit easier. And focus on challenging difficult points. Do not talk about everything. This is controlled practice. It means that this is something you have been learning and they do not need to explain every little bit. Okay, next. Another controlled practice task. Make five sentences in present perfect. I'm not asking you to make 5 sentences. I'm asking you, do you think it's a good task? Put a plus or a minus to the chat. No, people don't like it. Good, 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 good. No one likes my task. Anyone? Yeah, guys, it's a bad task. I like grammar. Yes, good. So you like making sentences. And Natalia, yeah, okay. So why this is actually a bad task? Why not, Larissa? Let's talk about why not. Yeah, I'm ready to answer your question. But first, I would like to hear from you. Why do you think it's not a very good idea to ask students to write 5 sentences in present perfect? Teachers versus normal people. Yes. Any ideas? You can board. Yes, Yulia, it's boring. It's boring, especially if it's teenagers or kids. It's abstract for kids. They will not have idea. Yes, Ruslana, thank you. So 5 sentences in present perfect. About what? What if students don't know? Exactly, that there's no example, there is nothing, like what do they need to talk about? So no context. Look at this task. Oh, sorry. 5 right things you have never done, but you'd like to try. Which grammar tense will students use if you ask that question? Yeah, much better. Thank you, Yulia. This one's better, yes. So is there context for this task? Yulia, that's exactly what we're going to talk about later, yes. So there is context and they can choose their own language, right? They can write about sports they've never tried or some activities or I don't know, anything they've never done. But you'd like to try. So maybe some people have never climbed a mountain or have never gone skateboarding. That sounds good, right? If I ask my students to write those 5 questions, what do you think? And then my next task will be read your sentences to your partner. What do you think about reading your sentences to your partner? No, Olena, okay, why not? Explain.
Because there is no communicative purpose.
Good job, well done, yes. So if I say, write your sentences to your partner, remember one surprising thing about your partner, or remember what you have in common, or there was actually a suggestion, I think it was from Yulia Pikul, and she suggested writing yes, no, like true or false sentences. That's exactly what I wanted to show you. Like to make it really fun, for example, you can change the task and do something like this. Write 5 things you're going to do at the weekend. Write 3, sorry, I beg your apology for my misspelling. So that definitely should be right with E, the second sentence. Write true and 3 true and 2 false sentences. Read your sentences to your partner and let your partner guess which ones are true and which ones are false. So will the students be motivated to write those sentences? Hopefully, yes. I know that some of them don't care still, but most of them will. And they will have that stimulus, the reason to read their sentences to their partner, and their partner will have a reason to actually listen to their partners because they need to guess. So yes, it's a fun activity, definitely. So you can actually turn a really boring stuff into something communicative and sometimes even fun the students might like. So again, everyone's involved. Everyone is writing sentences. If it's free a practice, and you can actually, why writing sentences? It's very, let's say, teacher friendly, because while they're writing, you can actually walk around and watch what they're writing. And if you know, for example, that some of the students are weaker, you can actually look at what they're writing to make sure that they make no mistakes or something like this. And when they read the sentences to each other, you can listen to their pronunciation and probably make some corrections. So anyway, this is much better than just write sentences. Okay, I have a question. What is the benefit from reading the sentences to a friend? So it's a free practice because when we learn English, we mostly learn it to speak. You might ask students to write 5 sentences, or if it's a stronger group, they can do without writing. It depends on the level, of course. You can actually ask them to not to write, but think of 5 things and say them to the partner without writing. It depends. But this is the practice for both students. Okay, you might not say write. You can just say think. Say about 5 things. That's okay. But actually everything will be useful in that case. It's communicative and students use their own language, but the structure that you have been learning as a class. Okay. So my next task is, I think I will skip it because we don't have that much time. Let me think about it. Okay, no, I will do it for you. So guys, can you please unmute and say, what is the synonym to ugly?
Hideous.
Thank you. What is the synonym to beautiful?
Wonderful, nice.
Thank you, Olga.
Cute.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. What is the synonym to big?
Large.
Enormous.
Yes. What is the synonym to small?
Tiny.
Tiny.
Yes. My question, how many people answered my question? My question.
4. 4.
How many people do we have in this room?
65.
Yes. What is the problem with this task?
It's just like my classes.
Yeah, do I have dominating students here? I would say it's not dominated, it's like people who are willing to participate. And thank you very much, guys. But I wanted to imitate the situation when I have a couple of students who always respond and the others who are always silent. Do you have that problem in your classes, guys? You don't even have to respond. I think you have. Okay, so what can we do? What can we do if you have a dominant student or a couple of students, and shy students not even have a chance to say anything, or they are slower, they don't have time to generate the idea and put it into words, and the stronger students are already there. So any idea what we can do? So I have already some suggestions from Olga Ivanchenko. Give extra task for dominant. Yes. But what if you throw a question to the class and everyone always answers this, like only a couple of dominant students answer and the shy do not respond? What can you do?
What if to combine them and maybe or maybe to combine shy students and stronger and strongest.
So first of all, you can turn the things into pair work, right? So you can put them in pairs and give them a list and say, guys, write synonyms together. This is the first thing. If it's something, if it's a brainstorming, thank you, Yura. Strong can monitor weaker. If it's a brainstorming something in open class and you want to give the chance to weaker students, you can actually nominate them. You can say like, Ala Berbensova, can you tell me the synonym of the word ugly? And Ala says, oh, I know. Hideous, something like this. You can nominate, or you can put them in pairs again. And this brings us to talking about classes that are mixed ability. And this is a very common problem for a lot of countries, schools, teachers, and I know that a lot of people struggle. So here you have Avengers, right? They have mixed ability. They have very different abilities. Okay, I'm going to show you what you can do with mixed ability. So first of all, I have a reading task for you guys. Here is the text and here is the question. Can you please read the text and answer the question? Can you please write your answers very briefly to the chat? Already have some responses. Very nice. Oh, sorry. Too small. Thank you, Ala. But did you know that, or did you read it in the text? It doesn't suit the necessary traits. Yes, thank you. Doesn't have the quality. Yes, thank you, guys. Yes. So according to the text, it lost the status of a planet because it doesn't fit the definition of a planet. Exactly. So guys, do you think this reading task, this exactly, do you think it's for stronger, normal people, or weaker? Can you please write a letter? If it's a stronger, it's an S. Normal, average, it's an N. And weaker, it's a W. Stronger, stronger, stronger. Any other ideas in the chat? Upper elementary, maybe normal, 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 stronger. So nobody thinks it's the task for the weaker. Why not for the weaker? Any ideas? Normal, normal. So we have two opinions, either normal or stronger. Because of the vocabulary. Okay, I'm going to show you two more tasks to the same text. And can you please decide now which of them, so we have, okay, let it be 1, 2, and 3. Again, I was typing and probably messed it up. So this is text number 1, task number 1, 3, 2, and 3. Can you please decide which one is for stronger, which one is for normal, and which one is for the weaker? You can just write one number and a letter. Can you please do this in the chat? Thank you for your answers. Yes. Good. Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, when I was designing the task, so I wrote the text about Pluto and I designed the task. So I meant that number 1 will be for the stronger, because it's a WH question. So students need to understand the text. So they need to find, so they understand the details about the text. They need to understand the question and find the answers in the text. Number 2, which is easier, number 2 or number 3? What do you think?
Number 2?
Yes, because in number 2, you have to choose a word, right? And number 3, this is a true-false question, and they are sometimes tricky. So I would say that the easiest option is task number 2, the multiple choice, but that's not very tricky. Right? That's okay. It's not like super vicious. Number 2 is for maybe normal students, and number 1 is for stronger. So if you have a class where a lot of students are mixed ability and they cannot do the same task, because there might be a class where stronger students do something for 2 minutes while weaker just try to get what they need to do. So sometimes it helps if you grade the task. I don't grade the text here, but I might suggest an easier task for the weaker learners when they need to do some multiple choice, for example, or they need to find some numbers in the text or something like this. If I want to challenge stronger students, I might complicate the task. And for example, instead of choosing ABC or answering true or false, I can actually ask them W8 questions. So especially when we talk about teenagers or kids, if they can write well, because they will have to write the answer into the question, it will give enough time for everyone to kind of finish more or less equally. So it might be an option. You can grade the task, but not grade the text. Can you actually, but again, it depends on the class. If you have a friendly atmosphere where stronger students, if we talk about teenagers, for example, will not bully the weaker ones because they do something easier. So I recommend you doing that, because if you do that, the easier, the weaker students, they have a sense of achievement, because they will always have a chance to finish the task and not just think, oh my God, I'm late, everyone's waiting for me. And you might challenge the stronger who think that the regular stuff is boring. This is just one example of how you can do that. But you can actually look at your books and think and experiment and change tasks. Think of some manageable tasks for the weaker and challenging tasks for the stronger. Okay, I have a couple of questions in the chat. Does it mean that you need to design several similar tasks for different levels of one lesson? It depends. When I'm super lazy, I just reduce the number of questions that the weaker students have to answer. Like my stronger might have an extra question, and the weaker, they have the normal number of questions. So I tried to engage the stronger. Sometimes when they are ready, I can give them, if it's a reading task, I can give them a dictionary and I can underline a couple of words and ask them to find the definition in the dictionary, or I ask them to look at the text and find like 2 or 3 words they would like to look up in the dictionary. So it depends. So some extra task, or if students do not cope with the normal task, you can actually simplify the task to make it manageable. Okay. Just need more time. Yes, weaker students need more time, so you need to engage the stronger sometimes. Make them trick questions. Yes, Olga, it's possible. We can assign some questions on the same paper for the weaker students. Yeah, yes, why not? Again, but you need to, if you teach teenagers, for example, or children, make sure that they will not, bully each other for doing that, because sometimes they're super sensitive and say, you have a weaker task and they have a stronger. So you have to establish this atmosphere of, trust and friendliness. That will do. No problem designed on task. Yes, what is reading? Yes. Well, it depends. But anyway, this is just an option. It might be applicable in your class. But you cannot, if you have very mixed ability students, sometimes you just cannot give them the same task. It's just impossible. Okay, so guys, I think we don't have much more time for another demo. I had an extra task. Unfortunately, I will not show it to you, but we have some time for some questions and answers. Let me find it here. Okay, so first of all, just a couple of words about what we are. The techniques that I demonstrated to you, most of them, and Alla Perbentseva will prove my words that this is something you will definitely learn and practice at CELTA. So if you were considering CELTA or probably CELP or CELTES, this is something that you might consider if you want to learn such techniques of how to work with the students effectively and involve all of them. So this is my strong recommendation. So if you're struggling with students, if you don't know how to involve them all, then maybe CELTA, this is a good option for you. We also have a teacher partnership program for exams, because we are the largest exam center in Ukraine, and actually in the region of Ukraine and I think Middle East or something. So if you are interested, if your schools are interested, please contact us. We'll be very happy to talk to you. Yes, we do CELTAs, Deltas, CELP, CELTAs, different webinars. join us. We'll be very happy to see you take part. We have different teaching exams. So if you have any questions to me about the webinar or about our teach and training products or about any exams or anything, so please feel free to write down your questions. Thank you very much for being very active. Like, thank you, Olga. Thank you, Natalia. Like, thank you, everyone who like Olena and so on, Nina. You were writing in the chat. You were unmuting, talking, imitating stronger students. So thank you very much. You really helped me because my fear, my biggest fear was only, you know, have black windows and no one's talking. No. So thank you very much for making this training happening, and I hope it was useful. Yes. So if you have questions, please feel free to ask me. Will there be a recording? I think so, but you need to ask the moderators. I believe so. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Okay. So if you have no questions, here are the contacts of our center, of myself. So if you would like to ask something, to consider, you know, some teacher training development or whatever, we'll be very happy to see you. So please stay in touch. Come to grade virtually and physically. So we'll be very happy to see you. Okay, thank you very much. If you have a question to me, you can stay with me in this room and we can talk. Yes, what about certificate? I think that the moderators will answer this question because I'm not sure, but I think you will have some. Yeah, if you have questions, stay with me. If no questions, have some rest and think of your plans that you were sharing about the evening today, tonight.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Oh, thank you, Natalia. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Valeria. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Nina.
Actually, I have not one question, but
Yeah.
one suggestion I'd like to discuss with you.
Yes, please.
As for different levels of difficulty, what if you make it your normal practice to offer like tasks on 3 different levels, and so the students can choose for themselves which level of difficulty they will try today?
Yeah, it's possible sometimes. It depends on the students. If you have like lazy students who just don't want to work, it might not work. But what you can do is you can trick them. If you have teenagers or kids, it works with kids. You can say that, guys, we're going to have a semester test soon. If you do all your homework every time, I will give you an easier option. And you will give them a normal option, but you just said it's going to be easier. Well, it does work sometimes, but you know, students are not stupid, and sometimes it doesn't work. If it works with your students, do it. I usually give choices, but well, it depends. I might give them choices, but still they think it's easier, but it's a normal thing to do. You see, so you can just pretend it's easier. It depends on your students. It does. So yeah, usually because if you give very easy tasks, they choose very easy tasks. It's not very motivating learning. If it's motivating enough, why not?
Yeah, because I think they would be proud to choose a more difficult task.
Well, yes, you can say, but I wouldn't choose between easy and difficult. I would say, guys, this is your normal test. If you want some challenge, I have number 2, option number 2.
Right, okay, cool.
Yes, so this, to me, this is very cool. But I had a couple of cases when students who were not very strong, they chose the stronger option. So it depends. If you think that it will not harm them, yeah, do it. Why not?
Right, but how to integrate that with the grade?
Are you talking about schools? Yes.
Yeah, probably not school, but children anyway. Because you know, once they feel they've completed more, but they make mistakes there, right?
Yes, they've completed more, but still, you need to have, like, we have that percentage system. Like from 100% till 90% it's an A, from 90 till 80 it's a B. So you might have the same system, like count the number of options like students need to do and say like from this to this you have a 12, from this to this you have an 11. Yeah.
Okay. If they decided to do more, they need to be held accountable for that.
It depends on your class.
It depends. I agree.
It depends, right? I sometimes, when I was a school teacher, I sometimes put higher marks when I saw that a weaker kid put a lot of effort. And but I could always justify it to the class because they are very, very attentive and they don't like any unfairness. Like if you kind of give something unfairly, they lose trust in you. So if you can justify it to say, guys, it's really well deserved. Yes, why not? If you cannot.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have no other questions, then thank you very much. Yeah, you can talk. Welcome. It's Abdul Rahman. Yeah, welcome.
Yes. Hello, everybody.
Hi. Hello.
In fact, I teach grade 12 students who are in the graduation year in Saudi Arabia here. The problem I have is that in each class there is at least 1 or 2 more students who cannot read. They are in the graduation year. Yes, I'm talking in English. They cannot read. I asked you the same question a little time ago in the chat. Okay, but you haven't given me an answer till now.
Okay.
So we have to follow a specific course, and I have to give them a lesson using this course. Okay, so that how can I teach them in a way so that everybody gets the benefit? Because if I speak all the time in English, they will not understand what I'm talking about. Okay, and if I speak in Arabic, this is a very big problem. I can't do that because they are grade 12 students. I should never do that. Okay. So in your opinion, what is the best solution?
It's a very difficult question. It depends which level. I mean, you mentioned that there are students who do not understand and they cannot read. What level are you teaching?
They are grade 12 students.
Well, the graduation.
The highest level at school.
It doesn't say anything to me. So is it like A1, A2, B1, B2? Do you know anything about
the
this?
Highest one at school. The highest one at school.
Okay, so anyway, you cannot teach them. You have to teach the level they are. If a student is elementary, you cannot teach them upper intermediate. Then this is the problem. This is the problem then with the education system, that they accept such students and they make them learn
but
the level.
I can't get them back to the elementary school. They are 18 years old. How can I get them to the elementary school?
I cannot hear you very well. Well, if it's elementary, it's actually possible. You can speak English to them. You just have to do a lot of demonstration. It's possible. You can actually Google probably some videos on YouTube. Because when you like in CELTA, we teach students to teach people who do not speak, who might have different first languages, and they don't have to speak they don't have to speak each other's language. They speak in English, starting from the starter level. And the problem is here that if you have very different levels sitting together, this is almost impossible to teach. Then that's a problem of your educational, of your university or school. You have to find the way to actually separate the learners, sort the learners so that they are more or less of the same level. In that case, you will have no problems. But if they are from elementary till, I don't know, upper end or something, that's just impossible. It will not do, unfortunately, and I don't know how to do it. So they have to be more or less of the same level. Sorry, Abdurrahman, I cannot really help you with this. Okay, any questions? Yeah, Abdurrahman, you wanted to say something? Okay. Yeah, thank you, Abdurrahman. Unfortunately, I cannot help. So this is what I can say. Okay, if there are no questions, then thank you very much, everyone. I hope you found something useful. Please join us for more webinars, trainings. Come to grade. And good luck to everyone. Good luck in your teaching. and enjoy the good weather. I hope it will be good soon because in Kiev it's really ugly. So thank you very much and bye everyone.